A crazy shift in our weather pattern is coming, and this winter is about to feel very different. A crazy and fast temperature flip is happening right now, creating a strong clash between two opposing air masses, which will set the stage for multiple large winter storms. Over the next few days, a series of Alberta clippers will race across the northern United States, delivering fast-moving but high-impact snow and ice. Snowfall rates will reach up to 2 inches an hour, rapidly reducing visibility and making for difficult travel. Tracking right behind, a strong clipper will follow, bringing a few inches of snow in some areas, while warmer locations could see up to 1/4 of an inch of ice, which is enough to affect travel and power outages. These two clippers are just the start to a more powerful and widespread winter storm, which will be happening later this week. A surge of above average temperatures is pushing northward across the country, and as that mild air runs into stubborn cold, locked in place to the north, a sharp and expansive boundary will develop, bringing a wide range of impacts across the eastern half of the United States. Heavy snow and ice are likely on the colder side of this system, while areas further south could see severe storms with impacts stretching from Maine to Texas. This storm could impact hundreds of millions of people. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about these upcoming storms that will be impacting the United States. And we have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. I want to begin with our jet stream though, as this is what will be controlling what we see over the next 7 to 10 days. Alright, so as we see right now, we have this massive amount of sort of Arctic air just hovering over the northeast, which is bringing temperatures below average, but this won't stay for long as it begins to move off of the east coast as we get on into tomorrow afternoon. But moving on into Tuesday and Wednesday, nothing is really looking too crazy. As we get into right here, this is when we could be seeing the chance for severe weather to return to the eastern sides of the country, more southern parts of the eastern country, but the storms really won't start to fire off until later on Friday, but we'll get more into when those start to fire off later. But as we can see, as we move on into the next few days, there's just this massive amount of cold and warm air just clashing into each other, which will be causing the chance for the return of severe weather all across the eastern side of the United States. Overall, the U.S. will be pretty quiet on Monday, January 12th. A lot of the areas in the central parts of the United States will be receiving temperatures way above average for this time of year. But as we move on into Wednesday and Thursday after this week, really nothing too crazy begins to happen. Just some weird shifts in the jet stream, sort of shifting into a meridional flow. But that won't bring the return of too much as of now. But like I said, we post videos every day, so we will make sure to keep you all updated on that if anything changes. Alright, and here's our composite reflectivity, and this is how we can view all of these storms, rain showers, and the severe weathers. What we're mainly going to be looking for today, though, as we will be having some severe weather move into the southeastern parts of the United States over the next week or so. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. So as you can see, storms really don't start to fire up until Thursday, January 8th, moving into Friday, January 9th. We have this massive line of storms that will be moving across parts of the southeast, including Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, parts of Illinois and Indiana. Then we have some more storms that will be ranging from parts of Kansas all the way through Iowa and into even parts of western Michigan, which Michigan doesn't normally see storms too much, but you could be receiving some storms soon. Now, all these storms will begin to move off the west coast as we get into Saturday and Sunday the 11th. Then we get some more storms start to fire up in Texas on Tuesday into Wednesday, the 13th and the 14th. But overall, as we get into January 16th and 17th, Friday and Saturday, nothing will be happening really other than some just like rain showers and light to moderate thunderstorms. As we move on into Sunday, January 18th, nothing is too crazy, but we will make sure to keep you all updated if anything does change about the severe weather that will be impacting the eastern side of the United States over the next week or so. Now here's our temperature anomaly, so we can view our temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days. Which we have a massive amount of heat hovering over Nebraska and parts of South Dakota, which we could be seeing temperatures of upwards of 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Nebraska and South Dakota. Cold temperatures hovering over the northeast, a little bit above average down in the southeastern parts of the United States. But the western side of the United States seems to stay pretty warm all the way until about Tuesday is when they start getting cold temperatures again on the west side, the west coast, and then that will end up dying out And then, as we move on to Wednesday, January 7th, pretty much the whole entire United States will be undergoing a massive amount of heat everywhere in the United States, except for parts of the western coast, which continue to see some cold air all the way until Sunday the 11th, when they will get just a tiny amount of heat. But overall, this heat does start to take over Canada. As you can see, if we look up here, Canada is having a massive heat wave, which we could be seeing on January 11th. So if you're watching this from Canada, just make sure that you are prepared for this heat wave that will be moving in on January 11th. Overall, southeastern parts of the United States start to stay pretty cold on 11th and 12th and 13th. But overall, as we move on into Tuesday, 13th, 14th, Canada is just getting it with all this heat up here, especially on western parts of Canada. We could be seeing temperatures upwards of 100 degrees Fahrenheit as we move on into the day there. I know my screen reading thing says 40, but that's 40 above average. There's a massive amount of cold air over the eastern parts of Canada. Overall, United States seems to stay pretty warm as we move on into January 18th. With this is the farthest this map will go. But like I said, we will make sure to keep posting videos every single day, even if it's a holiday, work day, business day, or school day. If it's anything, I will still continue to post. I may not always post on time. I try to post every day at about 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I cannot keep that schedule for a few days, especially on weekdays. I will be posting probably about 8 a.m. or so. This week, it won't start until Thursday. I'll start posting back again at 8 a.m. on weekdays. On weekends, it'll still be probably about 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but trust me, I'll make sure to keep y'all updated and informed. Alright, today we have a slight risk issued for the excessive rainfall in parts of California. Again, we've had this consistently over the past week or so, which shows signs that we could be seeing more intense flooding as we get on and on and on, as they are continuing to get slight risks and marginal risks. So make sure that you have an evacuation plan and that you are prepared for all of these flooding events. We could be seeing debris runoff, flash flooding, flood warnings, flood advisories, especially coastal flood advisories and coastal flood warnings. So like I said, make sure you are prepared for this if you live in parts of Sacramento, California. Now that was all we had to talk about today, so thanks for tuning in, everybody. You can click right here to subscribe to the channel that I go live on. I go live during any sort of severe weather event. You can click right here to subscribe to the channel that I just post videos on, and you can click right here, should be over here on my mic somewhere, to watch my latest video. I go live during any severe weather event, no matter that's tsunamis, hurricanes, severe weather, winter storms, lake effect snow, pretty much anything you can think of if it has a threat to the United States. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace!